This podcast is brought to you by our beautiful anime addicts community the world over. And if you would like to support the podcast, AAApodcast.com/join or patreon.com. That'll get you to the place where you get our exclusive content, the hentai episodes, the after parties, the hobby addicts. Just talked about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo in the Hobby Addicts. If you want to hear about that, probably the hottest game coming out this month, check it out on Hobby Addicts. Lots of game talk, lots of movies, all over there. Again, if you want to support the show, AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. And now, time to get it started.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Ooh, welcome into the podcast. Episode 715 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, where our sole mission is to make your anime addiction worse. I am your host, Mitsugi, and I am here. I am joined by only the finest, curated, sought-after hosts in the world. We have Caroline. She's wearing her main shirt. She's having a good hair day, and her room looks clean.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
It's Caroline.
Oh, no, it's not. I still have Mount Box behind me, as you can see. Or the leaning tower of boxes. I'm just too lazy to get rid of that.
Oh my goodness, she killed Boxo.
Well. I'm doing well.
Caroline, who will be joining me in the frigid tundra of Colorado, where it snows.
Hopefully I shall bring
day.
the sun and the warmth. Hopefully.
We're also joined by Mason. He's looking handsome. He's got great hair. Also,
thank you. Thank you.
And he's feeling good today. He played some frisbee golf. How you doing, Mason?
I'm doing all right. I'm wearing a blue shirt, the most neutral color for the Super Bowl, as all of you. All of you guys are wearing blue. We did not plan this at all. Mitch is stepping up. He's even got the blue background with the PlayStation 2 LED, whatever, or neon sign. Looking classy. So we have no affiliation with the Super Bowl. It's dead to us. Boring. We're doing this instead. It's actually funny. Years ago, exactly to this day, we did Anime Shark Tank on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And we actually did the stream a little bit early because we're like, oh, we'll do it. No, not this year. Same time as always. This takes precedent.
We weren't all that excited this year.
Yeah, we're like, it's whatever.
More than anything, I'm just worried I'm going to miss out on the commercials. That's all.
The game starts so late, it'll be done by the time we wrap up. So if you're listening to us live on Twitch, you also care more about anime than the football game anyway, right. So you love to see it.
We appreciate you.
If you want to follow the podcast, you can do it at AAApodcast.com. We're live on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We have a Discord that would love you to join. I'd love for you to join our Discord, AAAdiscord.com, AAAdiscord.com. You type it into your browser, it'll take you straight to the Discord. It is free. There's roughly, I don't know how many people are on there, 3,000 people on there, a lot of good stuff. After we got anime watch parties, we got the betting section, there's the listener choice. We're going to be doing our anime Oscars probably this coming week. So head over to the Discord, join up, you'll have some fun. On this episode today, we are going to be doing Anime Shark Tank. It has returned, the rebellion, I'm calling it, the Anime Shark Tank Rebellion. So this is probably our 7th or so iteration of Shark Tank, where the listeners have submitted concepts for new anime, and we are going to either invest our fake money into those ideas or feed you to the sharks. Chomp chomp. We're also going to be reviewing the Rurouni Kenshin 2023 anime of the classic that came out like 20 years ago. But shall we do listener choice? Because I think it's pretty much done, and I'd like to announce the results.
30 years ago, by the way.
What was it, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30. Around, almost.
The original Rurouni Kenshin is not 30 years old.
What year did it come out?
I don't know, but I would guess 1999.
The
That
manga was
that's
1994.
25 years ago.
Damn,
So
I'm
the
getting
manga is
so
30 years.
I don't want to hear about this. I'm getting scared. All
I
right.
get scared.
Oh god, dang! I'm so old. All right, listener choice. So every season, the listeners will pick 3 anime for us to review from the remainder after we have passed and failed things. So let's find out what those listeners pick. We'll see how.
Oh, I'm worried.
All right. So the first runner-up with 18.8%. This was really close, honestly. There were eight anime, I would say, within striking distance. So it was fairly more spread out than I thought. There was really no one anime that took over the poll this time. The first runner-up was High Card Season 2, which was in the lead early on, but then fizzled out with 18.8% of the vote. So better luck next time.
Not too disappointing because none of us watched Season 1 besides a couple episodes, so no one's upset.
Fourth place, the other one we won't be watching, was actually leading for quite a while in the poll. Change Soldier, 23.2% of the vote. So you will not have to watch, what's his name, lick anybody's feet or whatever the hell they do in that weird anime.
I'm satisfied with that.
Number 3, we will be watching with 23.9% of the vote, The Dangers in My Heart Season 2.
Yeah.
Caroline's all happy. So, okay, well, you may as well. Here you go. There you go. I'm like, whatever. I watched the first season. I know what's going on. And also,
Number
2 with 24.6% of the vote, Seventh Time Loop Villainous something. I don't know what all that title is. I'm sure it's extremely long.
That's your horse for Mid-Wars. You should know what it is.
Well, I picked it because it was the highest score at the time. It just seemed logical. I don't fucking know. All right.
Mitch is a man of numbers.
Loyalty.
Numbers
no loyalty.
talk.
And number 1,
Number 1.
with 27.5% of the vote, an anime that wasn't even close to the top about halfway through, but then I have to imagine after it went up on social media, it pulled ahead. Dungeon Meshi will be the other one we will be covering. So the 3 anime we'll be covering, in addition to our other 6 shows, are Dangers in My Heart, Season 2, Seventh Time Loop, Villainous, blah, 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 whatever it is, and Dungeon Meshi. So,
I think the listeners did good.
any surprises?
I think they pulled through for us.
Oh, you think
I
so?
am a little surprised about Seventh Loop. I was not sure if that was going to get up there for the votes, but I mean, it's my kind of thing, so I don't mind it that much that it's been voted in.
It's interesting, as Mitt said, how close numerically all these shows are. Because usually we have one at like 18, one at 29, and one at like 53% of the vote. And it's just like, okay, clearly we missed that one or whatever.
We are mid across the board this season.
Yeah, exactly. Brings out a good fight in everyone.
All right. Okay. Well, shall we start the show?
Let's do it.
It's time for big news of the week.
Well, you guys already knew that Jim Carrey is coming back for the 3rd Sonic movie, and it should be awesome. I mean, he said he really enjoyed the role of Robotnik. I think it was perfect for him because it was very well suited to Jim Carrey's like just silly, comedy, whatever. But Sonic the Hedgehog is having a big resurgence, and I'm all here for it. There is a Sonic the Hedgehog 6-episode live-action Knuckles series coming out on Paramount+. It's going to premiere on April 26th, and I watched the trailer for it, and it doesn't look that different than the movies in terms of, like, the tone, the comedy, how it looks, the graphics, whatever. So it centers around the main character, Knuckles, who is played by Idris Elba. And you like him?
Smoldering.
Is he a hottie?
He's hot.
He's a cootie patootie.
So the series takes place between the 2nd and 3rd live action films. So Knuckles trains Wade, some human guy I think, as his protege and teaches him the ways of the Echidna warrior. So, and then of course the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie is coming out in December. So, pretty exciting for me. I don't know.
Where does Knuckles rank to you, Mitz, in like the echelon of Sonic characters? Is he top 3, top 5? Like bottom of the
There
chain?
are a lot of Sonic characters. I would say, for me, he's probably third place. I pretty much like Sonic the best, and then I like Tails pretty well, and then I'd say Knuckles. So I like them kind of in the order that they appeared in. And then after that, I don't care that much. Amy is fine. Shadow is fine. Side note, I was watching Sonic X on Netflix the other night, and it's so stupid. It's such a bad show, but it's obviously like made for little kids, and I have the coolest wife in the world because the little boy in the show tries to feed Sonic cat food, and it's an anime, so it's irrelevant, you know. He tries to feed him cat food, and Sonic's like, I ain't eating your fucking cat food, and he runs off. And because Sonic wants to eat chili dogs, so he goes off, he grabs himself a chili dog, which is weird. And
The speediest of all foods.
And I was like, you know what I'd love
Because it
right
gives
now?
you the runs.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why he
yeah.
likes them.
Yeah, he just shits himself while he's running. You always know where he is. It's the brown streak. He's the brown blur. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Pancake was like, I was like, you know what I really want right now is a chili dog. And she's like, you know what? Why don't we go get a chili dog at Sonic? And I said, you know what's even
How
better than
appropriate.
chili? I was like, you know what's better than a chili dog? This is like at 10 p.m. at night. We're already in bed. Lights are off. I'm like, you know what's better than a chili dog? Chicken nuggets. I was like, oh. So I ended up driving out to McDonald's at 10:30, grabbed 10 nuggets and a Big Mac, brought it back, and then we're eating McNuggets and Big Mac in bed, watching Sonic.
Oh, I was hoping you would get a chili dog and chicken nuggets.
They don't have chili dogs at McDonald's.
Make 2 stops,
You
man.
You
asked
want me to go to
nicely,
Sonic
don't get 'em.
too?
Well,
Oh,
Sonic also
man.
has chicken nuggets, don't they?
They have chicken tenders for sure, but their
Oh,
fucking food
but
is
come
so
on,
bad.
those probably hit better than chicken nuggets.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Sonic's. I don't know if you've ever been to a Sonic.
Oh, I have.
Well, their food
I haven't
fucking
done that.
sucks.
I've been often, but
Sonic's ice cream and drinks are good, and the food there is horrendous. So I don't know. I would never. I don't know. It's whatever. Some people will disagree. Anyway.
No one will disagree if they have taste buds. You go there for the shakes, especially in the summer when they do half price. That's the only reason. Their food is like cafeteria grade. But it sounds like what you should do is bring up Netflix on your phone, watch Sonic in the Sonic parking lot, and then whenever he gets a chili cheese dog, that's when you're like, press the button to order. That's like, you're already
it's like
there.
a drinking game, but a chili cheese dog game.
Exactly. That's what you should do.
We only
You know
ever.
what I just realized in our discussion about Sonic, changing topics slightly here. Like, I love how all the characters are named something cool, like Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Tails, and you got Amy!
Oh, it gets
Well,
worse.
that's because she's the girl. Come on. Girls can't be cool.
Yeah, they can't have a cool name.
It gets even
Rouge.
worse, honestly, because there's characters in Sonic called Cream and Cheese. There's like
Oh.
just goofy names. There's a guy named Big. I mean, it's a bunch of dumb
Okay, so I
bullshit,
guess
but-
they ran out of creativity with
Yeah.
those characters.
But I will say, and then we'll move on because no one cares about Sonic except me, I think, for the most part. But Sonic is having a resurgence. Little kids are following Sonic, and the movies were really good. The series looks good. Recommend people check it out. And with Shadow being in that third movie, it should be really good with Jim Carrey back. So I'm really excited. So, let's see. We have Caroline. What's up?
All right, so Crunchyroll announced on Wednesday that the Funimation app will shut down on April 2nd. So, sayonara, Funimation. And of course, this is part of their ongoing content and service consolidation from Funimation to Crunchyroll after the companies merged. So each Funimation subscriber can migrate their account to Crunchyroll, including their watch history and queue, or merge their Funimation account with a pre-existing Crunchyroll account if the two accounts are tied to the same email address. So one thing that people are not very happy about is the fact that Crunchyroll will not be supporting Funimation's digital copy content. So this comes from digital copies that were bought as a part of home video DVDs or Blu-ray disc purchases,
Are
which
people
I
pissed?
think
People are pissed, right?
is not quite right. I mean, when you get digital anything, it's not always going to be a permanent thing, and I'm pretty sure they must have put that in their like terms of service or something like that. Like, listen, like this isn't a permanent copy. This is in connection to Funimation, so therefore you might not expect it to always be there, but still, it's kind of sucky.
Well, let me ask a question. So, because I have there's this debate amongst gamers that, and it's not much of a debate anymore because it's shifted so heavily in one direction. But a couple years ago was some of the older gamers like myself, used to play games on discs, and we always had a disc. Even on computer, it was a disc. You know, we all had like the little box with StarCraft in it and stuff. And shout out to StarCraft Brood War. That game, it's like arguably the best game ever. I don't know, but people would say, "Oh, now you're downloading your games, but what if the PlayStation Network disappears? Then you don't have your games anymore. I'd rather have them on disc." And I say, well, I'd rather not have an entire room in my house taken up with bookshelves full of games because, you know, et cetera. It looks cluttered. And then I think to myself, how many times do we really go back in time and play a game that you bought like 5 years ago? Or do you just buy the new game that comes out because it's the new hotness and it looks the best and it's the most meta or whatever? Do you guys ever find yourselves going back and playing discs that you've had on your shelf for years? Or is that just something that people thought they would do and then it never really happens? What do you think?
I haven't been in that situation because I don't really play many games. But I mean, if I were to relate this to like books, I buy a ton of books that I don't read after I've read them once. So that makes sense. But I think it's more of like the principle of the thing. Like, you bought this thing. You should keep this thing. Therefore, why are you taking it away?
Well, that's true.
But
I mean, I can't disagree with that. I guess my point.
It's two different things.
But what do you think, Mason? Do you ever think about this?
I mean, I still buy all my games where I can physically. I mean, I bought the PS5 with the disc player. I spent the extra buck so I could go back and play my old PS4 games like Bloodborne and stuff on my thing without buying digital. I don't buy many games. I find the ones I like and I do replay them. But yeah, I mean, there's most of the things on my bookshelf I've experienced once and I will not experience them again, but I like having them physically on my shelf. As far as this goes though, I mean, yeah, if someone has bought this digital anime through Funimation, like, I hope they will have watched it. And yeah, it stinks that they will lose it. It probably isn't something they would have gone back and watched, but they're still being deprived of that opportunity if they so desired. And to me, the bigger thing is there's still a lot of stuff on Crunchyroll that hasn't got shifted over to Funimation yet. And where is that going to go? It's just going to fall in the cracks because I'm guessing all of these licenses were probably very explicitly written out in contracts years ago, like Funimation.co Ltd blah 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 has exclusive rights for blah blah blah, and they have to rewrite these contracts with new ownership for Crunchyroll for Sony, and it's not Funimation's fault, but it just we're probably just going to have a lot of stuff dropped for everyone, and that stinks. So, yeah, but yeah, there's definitely the argument in games about like, you know, you don't own games, you own the right to play games,
right? That
the publisher allows you to. And they can take that away whenever, and no bueno. So,
I mean, if you really think about it, eventually you're going to lose all your games anyway because, like, I have a PS2 and it works. 15 years from now, is that PS2 going to work even if I don't play with it? Probably not. I mean, it may not work. I mean, so there will be a point in time when you will not be able to play your PS1 and PS2 games because you're not going to have a functioning PS2 or a PS1. And nowadays, you can find a working Sega, but it's not easy, and it definitely costs more than it used to. So that being said, I don't agree with them taking away things people have bought. I think it's utter bullshit. But
yeah, but I'm sure it must be something that not even them can really do because it seems like it would be like a contract with whatever anime it was, and that when they change services, it doesn't carry over and blah blah blah. I mean, I don't know for certain, but a lot of times it is stuff like that.
I think it's very upsetting. I'm just glad that I don't have any of this stuff, and frankly,
yeah, me too.
And for the games I download, I usually platinum them, and so I never go back and play them anyway. And yeah, but it is. I can see how it'd be very infuriating for people. So
watch your stuff. Don't let it slip by.
Yeah. Oh, and anyway, I guess I'm going to talk about it in a second. But Mason, what do you got today? Oh, wow. What is this?
I actually wanted to physically get this and present it, but
Oh
I
my
went to the
God.
grocery store today and I just forgot.
Do they?
But currently,
Mason.
Do they have it?
I know it's out.
Go there now. Go get it.
No, Mitch,
Oh, it's
you
only.
get it for me.
It's only at Sam's Club.
No. So there is
Talk
a
about it.
limited time Reese's Puffs
Oh my
collaboration with Dragon Ball Z.
Fuck.
There is an exclusive Shenron themed box only at Sam's Club, but right now, viewers, at least in the US, you can go to your grocery store and find Reese's Puffs, which is arguably one of the top breakfast cereals of all time.
I don't know about that.
It's one of the top. I'm not saying it's the top. I'm just saying I had a bit of a problem when I was a kid. You can get a Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, Cell, Frieza, or Majin Buu adorned Reese's Puffs box, just making your Saturday morning breakfast cartoon session even more gamer epic.
That is awesome.
It's until they run out or until May, you can still get them. So, I'm sure, unfortunately, the Reese's Puffs, they're little spherical brown and darker brown spheres. They're not like Dragon Ball stamped or anything, which I think would have been awesome. That said, I don't know. It's probably a fun little thing, and I feel like getting your anime or cartoon or any show on a cereal box is like
shit.
One of the tiers of you've made it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything, but I think that's just a flex that Dragon Ball now has.
And these are in stores right now.
Yes.
Wow, I have to pick up. I got to pick up my groceries later, as always, and because the Kroger app sucks, and you always have to go into the fucking store to get something because it's always like delivery only. I'm like, well, I don't do delivery, I do pickup, so I got to go in anyway to get my protein waffles. So, by God, in that very same aisle happens to be the cereal.
It might be there.
I will fucking look.
Will you buy all 7?
No, fuck no, I'm not gonna buy all. You know how expensive cereal is.
I don't know, but if they're collector's items, which apparently they are.
For a box.
No way.
So for $7.
What if they're on sale?
What? A box of cereal is at least $6. I can't buy 7 boxes of cereal.
As a thank you for letting me stay at your place next week, I will go to I have a Sam's Club card. I will go to Sam's Club and get Shenron for you.
It's pretty enticing.
If you want.
You don't need to do that. That's very kind of you. You don't need to. Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what? I gotta go grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh, I wonder what this is.
Oh no, I'm
we take
quaking
guesses?
in my boots.
Is this Dragon Ball related?
It must be.
What is it?
So speaking of people doing nice things for me that I don't deserve, a very kind podcast listener whose name I won't give out just in case I don't want to give it out, sent me a 7-Eleven Mobile Suit Gundam Gunpla. Yes, indeed, 7-Eleven Gunpla. I have built.
11 sells those?
They have a 7-Eleven is big in Japan. There's a lot of them. I've built most of this. You can see I've built most of them here.
Oh wow.
But this listener
even from Japan. Wow.
So this listener was so kind that, and it just touched me so I will find them something in Akihabara when I go to Japan in March. But they even put tools inside the box to help apply the stickers and to cut out the plastic pieces from the little molds that they're in. And even wrote a little note with better instructions on how to do the weapons and the shield and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So cute and so nice. And they mailed it to my office. And I just want us to give a big thank you. And yeah, it's just getting things I don't really enjoy in the mail. Oh, there we go. Well, since you just outed yourself, the user's name was Poor Boy, which I hope you're not too poor because I'm sure it costs at least $30 to $40 to get this over here. But thank you so much. I had a ton of fun building it the other day. And I was sitting in bed. Pancake was playing Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, and I was sitting there building the Gundam. And I looked over to Pancake and I said, "This is one of those times when you have a truly happy moment." And I was thinking I've got Indian food. I'm building a little 7-Eleven gunplay because I do love 7-Eleven. I went to 7-Eleven today and bought a Monster before I went to the gym, and Pancake was playing Final Fantasy VII, and it was just a very serene, peaceful moment. So Thank you for that. And it's pretty fun. And it's not too hard to build them. It's doable.
No,
It's definitely doable.
There's lots of grades.
So
Mitsuki, I sent you a link.
Mm-hmm.
I went on Kroger's website. The exact store you claim to just be visiting.
Well, it's King Super, technically.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll look it up there.
Okay.
But I went to Kroger because you said Kroger. You can buy, literally on the product page, the 11.5 ounce of the Reese's Puffs. General Mills Reese's Puffs chocolatey peanut butter cereal.
It's $3.
Is adorned with the Goku for $3.
I'll tell you, we don't really eat stuff like this anymore. But so I'll probably buy it and then not eat it.
You don't actually have to eat it. You just save the box.
I realize the box is
Take
probably
out
safer.
the Reese's Puffs. Send that to me. Put your protein pancake mix, because it probably comes in the bag. Put the mix in this box. There you go.
Frame them.
Oh man. Oh well. Cutting that
These
front
are
of
the
that
modern day cells.
Cells? Cereal box.
in the modern day cells, cutting the front of that box off and then sending it in to like, oh boy. But if you send that to Michael's or something, they're gonna be like, "Are you an idiot? You're gonna pay like $40 to have this cereal box framed." But hey,
You don't have to pay them to frame it. You can frame it yourself.
I don't know that I'm capable of that. I can build a gunpla.
You buy a frame, you take the box, you fold it, you put it in the frame. Have you never framed something before?
Let's get to these anime
not
Shark
by
Tanks.
hand. Not by hand. Yeah. Mason's like, we
Ask
gotta keep
your
going.
wonderful wife. I'm sure she'll figure it out for you.
All right. We do. Boy, how long has it been since we've done an anime Shark Tank?
It's been a long time. At
Let
least
me
half a year.
Review the tapes.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna play
Shark
our drop.
Yeah.
Thanks. I hope I have the right one.
Episode 667.
When was that?
Who are the sharks? They're self-made business experts worth billions. Mitsugi is a self-proclaimed holy man and a world-renowned enemy of moe girls, raised billions for his church through the Kick the Filth into the Pit of Anime Hell Foundation to lead the fight against moe. Mason, retail empire king and all-around food fanatic, started a grassroots movement and raised $500 million through his new retail food-themed line of skin creams called Pleasures of the Flesh. Caroline, a once humble social media giant turned queen of all media when she founded Otome Radio and built a net worth of $5 billion, blanketing the world in Otome radio waves. These are the sharks, and this is Anime Shark Tank.
All right, welcome to Anime Shark Tank, and as we do, we have listener submissions that drive this content. Again, if you want to submit Anime Shark Tanks for us to do on the show, they mostly all get read, so because they take more time than like a regular mailbag to submit, so we don't get as many. But AAApodcast.com/mailbag, one of the options is for the Shark Tank, so you can submit your own Shark Tanks. We will roast you or shower you with our cash based on how good your submissions are. So we are running a little long, although I did think that opening segment was pretty good. So yeah. I will. I'm gonna kick it off here with our first. Well, actually, they're already colored. So Caroline, you're colored for the first one here. So why don't you just take it?
All right, sounds good. So this first anime Shark Tank comes from Jishi. They say this anime. It's called Outer Light. The premise is a young man named Mitsuhi, not to be confused with Mitsugi, has his hair stolen, and a curse was put on him to grow hair never again. As he gets older, he discovers the identity of who cursed him, the evil sorcerer Dr. Genetics. Mitsuhi begins his vengeful journey to track down Dr. Genetics and his two companions, Jason and Karen.
Jason and Karen?
Jason and Karen.
Okay.
I wonder who that is referring to. His upper hand in combat comes from his reflective scalp. During the daytime, he blinds his enemies with the reflection of the sun and charges in fast to secure victory. Nighttime, he is less effective, needing his companions to set up laser checkpoints. which also can give away his position. During his journey, he begins to realize he developed into the man he is because he's bald, and entire combat strategy revolves around him being bald, thus developing an inner conflict. 2 seasons, 12 episodes each, money, easy, Rogaine, and keeps sponsorships.
What?
I'm not sure. I guess Rogaine is hair.
Listen,
hair growing.
That's how you regrow your hair stuff.
Listen, I gave up on Rogaine a long time ago.
I've heard of keeps. Okay. What are your thoughts, Mitsugi? Mitsugi?
Listen, man. I just want to give you a message. One bald man to potentially many balding men on that listen to this podcast. First of all, when you lose your hair, it just means you got too much testosterone, so it just means you're extra manly. You don't want to use that Rogaine. I did that for a while. It won't last. Just shave it. Some of the ladies love it. You look very confident when you shave your head. It makes you makes you look like you don't need your hair to like how you look. Just shave that shit. But that aside, what a goofy idea. There's always one person that writes in like a spoof.
I feel like most of them are spoofs.
Oh God, I didn't read them ahead of time, so
no, I didn't read them ahead of time. But like the ones I remember are spoofs. I remember the ones that are spoofs.
Well, how many of them are spoofs, Mason?
Like about our show?
Yeah.
This is the only one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
That's why I put it first. I had to trim some of them down a bit.
Well, oh yeah, thank you. I noticed that they weren't that long, because normally I do that, but I didn't. I thought, well, anyway, I appreciate that. I don't know. I like to try to keep the segment serious, even though it really isn't. So, it's hard for me to put my money behind a spoof idea that just has a little too much inside baseball going on. So I'm going to have to pass. I'm out.
I like the crux of this. I think it teaches good lessons. As Mitsugi said, I think a lot of people start balding or whatever issues, and it really hurts their self-confidence. And having a show like this, where bald is a strength and actually can be used in something to be proudful in, has a lot to say. And I like the idea of fighting with unique mechanisms centered around the hair. So I like where your head's at. I like what's coming out of it. The only problem is I think One Punch Man has already kind of cornered the bald man market silhouette. So you're kind of infringing. Like, it's going to be tough to escape that, connotation. So
yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I would be in. But unfortunately, I don't want to be sued by Madhouse, so I'm gonna back up. But I do like it.
Yeah, I'm in an agreement with these guys over here, partially because I was also thinking One Punch Man has already kind of taken that image, even though this is definitely not One Punch Man. It is also it's an interesting idea, but only from the perspective of the show it is spoofing. I appreciate it, but unfortunately, I can't put my money behind this.
All right, here comes your randomly selected, very angry drop from Mr. Wonderful.
It's a big mistake with me on this one.
But thank you for sending it in. And thank you everyone who we're about to rip to shreds. Next up, Lady Emery, whose title is Elden Ring Broken Beginnings. From Software is ready to make their move. This will be a prequel anime to the game Elden Ring. It will show the fall from grace for the various children of Queen Marika and the chaos it created. It will be around 6 to 8 episodes long. Our narrator will be none other than Melania, and the final episode will show our unnamed Tarnished setting off at the start of their quest. It will spark those to replay the game, and will be released a season ahead of the next Elden Ring DLC or Elden Ring 2. Where's the DLC from? Where's the DLC? I'm waiting for it.
Has that not come out yet?
No, it's not.
Good
it's not
Lord.
out yet. Soon.
Soon. Get on it.
Patient,
people.
Tarnished. It will come. Money-making scheme. We will have all the usual goodies, including commemorative weapons, lanterns in the shape of Sites of Grace, and hardcover copies of the game's cookbooks. Investors will also get a portion of the revenue for any new purchases of Elden Ring over the span of the next fiscal year, and other stuff. So, Elden Ring anime, which I think is funny because we are getting a Sekiro anime from, a game from the same people who made Elden Ring.
Are they really making an anime out of Sekiro?
They really are making a Sekiro one, which
God.
I think would be better than an Elden Ring one. I don't know. I I keep on watching Elden Ring lore videos, and I just keep on loving more and more of the world. So I'm sure this would be good. But there's just the game. The game already has so much stuff in it. Like if I want more Elden Ring content, I'm just going to play the game. I'm not gonna watch a show on it. So, as much as I love Elden Ring, and I think this would be good, I'm keeping my cards close to my chest again because I don't know why, but it's a good idea. I'm just not gonna go for it.
Yeah, as somebody who's never played Elden Ring, I don't know anything about it. It has not intrigued.
Perfect for you.
It has not intrigued anything about like this premise has not intrigued me as a person who's never played the game, which is an important thing because I don't know anything about it. It probably would intrigue me, except I don't understand the premise because I've never played it. And also, I feel like if anybody's going to back this project, it should be somebody who is very familiar with the franchise. So I will have to not be able, or I can't talk. I will have to back out on this one.
Wow, this is like a freebie for me. So neither of you want this, really? Is that right?
I mean, I want it. I just
I'm not qualified.
I just want the Sekiro anime.
Well, I'm going to have to tell you that Elden Ring sold 20 million copies, which is insane, and probably not real likely to be a flop if a prequel anime of such a thing were to be made. I mean, geez, with all of the already developed merchandise and established fan base, it's the brand equity alone is probably worth it. So I'm definitely going to throw my money at this one. So I will invest. The two of you can be in the poorhouse. And we'll move on.
You say that, but how did Nier Automata do?
Well, in fairness, Nier Automata and Elden Ring aren't even remotely close. I mean, Elden Ring's like 10 times the amount of sales that Nier Automata had. And didn't Nier get kind of... didn't they get fucked up by production problems? I had to assume that these...
I'm just saying, you never know what can happen.
Slowed it down.
Well... In any event, I think it's still not passing because you guys didn't want it. So here comes your hateful drop.
You're a nothing burger still. There is no tomorrow. You're dead to me when you say no to my deal. You're dead.
Sorry, Lady Emery's dead.
I've been saving my money that is definitely existent for this
imaginary money.
For this next prompt, which the next 3 Shark Tanks all took a stab at. Now, Caroline, do you remember this?
The blue ball
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah, I remember a little bit, but I would need a little bit of a refresher, if you don't mind.
I believe the last time we did an anime Shark Tank, it was you who demanded that the listeners take a stab at making Shark Tank submissions inspired by blue balls.
Inspired by the concept of
getting of blue balls, or just the title blue ball, and they had to take said title and run with it however they desired. So this is a first where all 3 of these entries will be going for the blue ball title supreme. So we'll pick at least the best of these. So you want to go, Mitz, read the first one?
Yeah, of course. So this one's from NetNabby. Blue Balls IRL. Fuck. Length, ongoing. Seasons will be 12 episodes each. Synopsis: one stormy night, Marin Kitagawa. I like it. Stormy night, Marin Kitagawa. Oh, wait, but it's blue balls, so no one's going to get any action. Man, you could get blue balls just looking at Marin Kitagawa. Is out taking pictures in her latest cosplay, wanting to get the perfect shot with a bolt of lightning in the background. Well, nowadays you just use Photoshop for that. She heads to the roof of a tall building. Little does she realize how dangerous this will be as she is struck by the lightning and reverse isekai'd into our real world. Oh my. Her journey begins as she awakens on a train filled with weebs on their way to a major anime con. The plot follows her journey in real life, gaining followers on social media and navigating our reality. This will make money by way of Marin's dream and antics are the same in real life as they were in her world, so naturally the plot follows her journey of cosplay. We produce behind-the-scenes content to be released on OnlyFans. Jesus. Charging a subscription fee that is to be decided amongst the sharks and myself. Oh, you want to cut? Net Nabby wants in. As Marin ascends in popularity, we license her likeness for advertisements, merchandise, etc. Wow. So, wow. Jeez. I love it. Honestly, I think it's a fun idea for an anime in general. It doesn't even have to be Marin Kitagawa. Let's just have some smoke show cosplay girl dressed up like a succubus, gets struck by lightning, and she gets isekai directly to Mitsuki's house. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Thank you. That's going on the Christmas episode in December. And you can take my money and my love.
Now, do you think it works even if it's not Marin? Because Net's point was like he needs Kitagawa. He needs our big budget shark money to purchase Marin.
The license for Marin.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
So does this work with just anybody?
Marin's likeness is not worth nearly as much as her love. I would just say it's well worth the price. But
here's my concern.
I don't need it to be Marin.
I think we're done.
Listen, it doesn't need to be Marin. If you're gonna have an anime girl dressed in cosplay, we'll say cat girl because that'd probably be the best. You're gonna isekai me a cat girl? I don't give a fuck who it is. Just send it, baby. Hit that send button. Full send. Wah, 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 full send. It doesn't need to be Marin, but it would be a plus. Caroline?
Yeah. Think that it's not worth to buy the license for Marin because we could feasibly make the new Marin and not spend all that money on that. And also that is insane that they would give us the rights of Marin for this. And also here's my issue, because if this main character is reverse isekai'd into our world, their world is very similar to our world. I don't know what the main difference is going to be that we will get any interesting antics from this situation.
That was my idea as well.
Just blue ballin' in real life when she would just be blue ballin' in her original world anyway. So it's really just an anime about a girl getting isekai to the same world that she just left. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's going to work, Net. Sorry, Net.
I don't think
I think it's the baseline that Mitt said. If it was just a wilder anime girl from a Tokyo location, it would be more zany and wacky and fun. So
yeah,
maybe it's got potential. But let's go through all the blue balls and figure out which one reigns supreme.
Wait, were you in or not?
Well, I want to pick the best of the blue balls.
Oh, all right. If we can beat that one, let's go for it. All right, this next one's Caroline.
Appropriately, the sender for this one is named Blue Balls. All right. So let's get into their synopsis here. Yukesawa, age 18, goes exploring in an abandoned mine shaft. The mine shaft collapsed, and Yuke is now trapped with a broken leg and arm. He is trapped for 3 days until he stumbles upon a magical lamp. He rubs it and out pops a magical genie. He grants him 3 wishes, but the genie warns Yuke that one of the wishes will hold an extra power and is chosen at random. Yuke makes his wishes. The first one is to get out of the mine shaft. The second is to be completely healed of any and all injuries. That's such a waste. Just go to the hospital. And Yuke realizes that he only has one more wish. He thinks to himself, what is one wish that I have wanted my entire life? He finally makes his difficult decision and wishes to be irresistible to any and all human females over the age of 18. I'm glad that this was specified. Over the age of 18.
A lot of modifiers.
That is straight up based.
Human females over the age of 18. The genie grants the wish and then disappears. Yuke then walks home, but on his way, he finds himself being chased by all the women in the city. But as they start ripping off their clothes, they start to vanish from reality. Turns out the random power given to him by this genie was triggered by the second wish, healing his body. But in the process, he triggers his magic power that anyone who sees or touches his penis will be isekai to another world, never to be seen again.
Oh my god.
Now UK will have to spend his entire life getting blue balls. Don't care about the money-making shit. Caroline told me to do this. Fuck yeah. Your friend Booty Stank, a.k.a. Creamy Mommy on the Discord. Love y'all. You better pass this shit, by the way. I know at least Mitz would love to watch it. This is pretty funny. All right, so it's a little wild, I gotta say, but I like your creativity. I'm not sure how it connects to the second wish. Like, anybody that touches or sees his penis gets to disappear.
And it also
to the
implies
world.
he's walking down the street without pants on. Because
no, but they tear off their clothes and that's the moment.
They're tearing off their own clothes, I thought.
Well, he's also tearing off his clothes off.
Why is he tearing off his clothes?
Because he wants to have sex, Mason.
Just leave the clothes on.
But
no, I think it's very creative.
I think it's great. I think it needs some workshopping. Like,
it does.
I'm still not sure about the whole second wish being a part of it. I'm not sure how that works. I think it's funny.
It's so cruel, though. Oh.
Well, that's the whole point of blue balls, Mitts.
Oh, it's brutal.
Cruel.
Oh my god.
It's a tragic tale.
Now, is this called blue balls? Is that the?
I assume so.
Okay.
So that was the second entry, which I'll be honest, I think I like more than the first. I think it brings more to the imagination. It's more evocative. It gets you going. So
I agree.
Let's go with the last blue balls entry and see how it works. So this comes to us from Zay J, who writes, just listen to episode 670. Let's see if I nailed the assignment.
Did you guys call for these? Is that why there's 3 of these?
Yeah, that's what happened in the last.
Oh my God.
Caroline called for them, so I put the 3 of them together. Blue balls the animation. Ao Rondo is a shy first-year college student who leaves his family in Tokyo to attend a small college in Tottori Prefecture. While walking through town one evening, he follows the sound of pops and grunts to find the handsome and athletic American student, John, hitting a racquetball alone in a nearby alley. Drawn to his enthusiasm for the sport, Ao learns the game from John and they decide to enter the All-Nippon Doubles Racquetball Championship. As they make new friends and face new challengers, Ao wonders if John is just his racquetball partner, or perhaps something more. Length, 12 episodes, ending with their arrival at the National Championship. Spoilers. Genre, sports and shoujo. It'll be done by Madhouse, and the money-making concept is anime tourism partnership with Tottori, spin-off manga series, figures, keychains, pins, and other random anime crap girls would buy. Hey, guys would buy them too, if we're being honest. It's the most reserved of the blue balls. I mean, obviously, took blue balls literally because if you've ever seen a racquetball, they're blue.
And his name is Ao.
Yeah. Well, everything nowadays is blue something.
Blue something, yeah.
It's a blue lock, blue period, whatever. So, I think this would be successful. I mean, I love me some sports anime, and I love me some weird sports like racquetball. Unfortunately, what's the game that pickleball? All the people play pickleball. If only those were blue balls, then I think you'd have a surefire winner. But honestly,
unless unless these characters use a specific ball that is very like symbolic of them, and it's blue, kind of like in Birdie Wing.
I think my favorite is the second one. I think that the second one,
despite
needing
really
some sanding along the edges,
yeah,
I could see this being an anime.
I would definitely watch the second and the third one. But if we're talking about blue balls, the concept, I think that one really hit it. I think it hit it home there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mitz?
Oh man, it's a careful balance between what I want from myself and what I think will be the most entertaining watch.
Tell us. What do you think?
Well, I mean, come on. I honestly can't wish for myself to be in a situation where when anybody touches my junk, they get isekai'd. I mean, that's so sad. Can I touch their junk?
Yeah.
I guess so. Maybe that's the That's the only thing that he can do in this situation is.
Well, what if you wear a condom?
I think
so
that's
they
a
can still see
workaround.
it.
If
They
I
can
can
still
wear a
see it.
condom, wow.
See, what I want to know is if he looks down or touches himself and sees his own penis, is he isekai'd?
No, because
That's
he's not
interesting.
an adult human woman.
Well, no, it just says anyone who sees it.
Really?
Not,
Anybody? Oh.
he's just not
Oh,
irresistible to anyone.
I guess he's not going to the doctors then.
Yeah, or like, but he could also use that to fight crime. Like, there's a stick up,
Yeah.
and people are like robbing him, and he's like freeze, and he just pulls down his pants, and they look.
His superhero name is called the Flasher.
Exactly. I think there's a lot you
right.
can do with that.
In light of the fact that I don't know the answer to these questions, there's a lot of risk involved. I'm putting I think I would put myself in. Oh man, I got to go with the second one because one, I think it'd be a funnier anime, and it'd be like, oh, he like falls in love with this girl, and then the sexual tension just gets insane, and they can't handle it anymore. She touches it while he's asleep or something, and then she just vanishes. I don't know. There'd be a lot of heartbreak involved, but if you can either have one woman or all of the women, wow, man, that's a lot of. I think personally, I'd rather have the first situation for myself, but if I think for the funnier watch, I go with the second one. So I think it's a more outlandish concept, more wild. So, and that's the kind of shit
I enjoy the second one, but I think the third one would make more money because people love a gay sports anime.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well,
and Wrecking Ball like would have some really cool like 3D spinning shots and stuff because like it's a pretty small court. I think it'd work.
So who won that one exactly?
We all did. I'm giving it to Creamy Mommy.
You know, I'm gonna give it to Creamy as well.
For support.
Booty stank. Blue balls himself.
All right, we got a few more of these and not much time. So Cade TBJ. What a ridiculous series of submissions that was. No Dart, No Life. Two 12-episode seasons. Munenori Ishii hates his office job. Me too. He wants to quit, but would have no source of income. His favorite way to cope is playing darts in his room. Random. After seeing a professional match on TV, he realizes his skills are on par with that of the pros, thus begins his journey to become professional, and most importantly, makes enough money to leave his job. Wow, that's actual sports anime. Revenue streams. Releasing dart sets that the characters use. Collaborating with pro Japanese players. What do you guys think?
This is pretty cool. I like this, like, kind of out there sports ideas, like things that you don't usually think about, but would get into if you watched an anime about it. It seemed like, would this be a serious anime though, or would this be goofy?
Sounds serious to me.
I think it needs
serious,
to be
I'd get behind it.
Darkly serious. I think it needs to be almost kaiji-esque, where it's like the underworld of darts. And
but then it turns into Birdie Wing.
Well, no, but actually good.
You know, I like this idea. I'm gonna back this one.
Okay.
I think we need to change the title. I get where it's coming from, but we can't do No Dart, No Life. We'll get sued to high heaven.
Else. What should we name it, if anything else?
Bullseye seems too lame.
Yeah.
Ultimate 60. Isn't 60 like the most points you can get in the throw?
Oh, geez.
I don't know anything about darts.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. No one cares about darts. That's the thing. There are people that do, so I shouldn't say no one. It's hyperbolic, but most people don't care. It's down there with like foosball. People don't really, only a select group of people in like smoke-filled bars and stuff play darts.
Sajinter cares in the Twitch chat.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sajinter. Sajinter cares, but I just don't know that I've ever seen someone play darts in Japan, and you rarely see it in the United States. So I just don't know the audience would be very wide for this. So I'm going to have to say I'm not too interested in giving you my money. I just don't know that the popularity level would be there.
That's fair.
Mason?
I like it. I think it's cool. I like oddball sports shows. I think it's simple. I think we got to make it brutally like depressing, like they're throwing, or otherwise we're going to chop your fingers off, kind of thing. Like that's the kind of
you definitely have a different idea of what this show is going to be.
Yeah, I just want more kaiji, and this seems like it would work. So I'm in. I'm in.
All right, I guess we're both in then.
All right, congratulations. What's next?
Okay. Well, the next one is crossed off. Does that mean that's been done before?
No, I think just for the sake of time,
Okay.
we're running out of stuff. So if you want to take the next one.
Okay. This one is from Isekai Hater 42069.
Is that your prison number?
42069. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They say, apologies. I know this is longer than preferred, but I really feel as though this is a great idea and good for content. Title: Revenge of the Animator. I repeatedly got resurrected in an isekai world and brutally murdered isekai protagonists that are clearly parodies of existing anime, but because of my burning hatred for trash isekai, ironically becoming the very thing I despise. That was the title. Here's the synopsis.
That whole thing is the title?
The whole thing is the title.
Holy shit. Well, that does track, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Kuromi, an overworked, jaded, impoverished, and impossibly voluptuous animator, is doing overtime animating yet another typical isekai anime. After going mad from resentment toward the anime industry, she gets run over by a truck and dies, while on the way to murder the writer of the animation she was working for. Oh, okay, Kuromi. She is resurrected by an all-powerful Shinigami who gives her the all-powerful pen of creation, with which she can draw anything into reality. Armed with the pen, she wakes in the very isekai she was animating, where she humiliates and brutally kills the boring protagonist and his harem of boobs in an unnecessarily well-animated and violent fight scene. Her purpose fulfilled, she kills herself, only to find herself resurrected in another isekai she had previously animated, starting a cycle of Kuromi being resurrected repeatedly in different isekai worlds and killing the protagonists, leading to an identity crisis and self-hatred at becoming the very thing she despised. Join us in this action-packed tits galore of a shit show, where all the isekais referenced are poorly veiled parodies of existing trash anime. Some of the mock anime titles Kuromi gets isekai'd into: Sono Kuba, Sword Fart Online, Underlord, Life March to the Parallelogram World Rhapsody, Furiareta, How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, How to not summon a demon lord, The Rise of the Helmet Hero, No Lame, No Gife, Mushishoku Tensei, I got resurrected as a noblewoman that remembers the story of the game, manga, anime, book that I was reborn into, and I use that to my advantage and bang all the hot dudes. Isekai with impossibly long titles and also the same plots, just condensed into one, so our protagonist can kill like a mob of crappy protagonists in one final showdown. Wow, that was very creative and well written, and I really like it.
Sometimes an idea comes and it's pretty good.
No,
it's not the craziest thing ever, but it's a solid idea. Yeah, but just the presentation really wows you.
The presentation has been great.
And seriously. I love that she's impossibly voluptuous. I think that really stokes the fires of my imagination. Exactly. Maybe that's all I needed.
Your use of vocabulary is quite impressive.
So, you really wowed me with the presentation, going above and beyond with all the silly worlds. I assume it was an intentional throwback to animation runner Kuromi, the kind of like the progenitor to Shirobako, with this character being called Koromi. So that's a nice little nod there. I think this is a well put together presentation, and just the idea of someone going around killing all these heroes seems like fun. Seems wacky. Seems like Gainax would have a bunch of fun with it. It'd be fun if like the art style could kind of change from episode to episode to match the world they go into. I don't think it'd be good, but I think it would be fun, and it would be funny. And
I think she would need like a lot of interaction with the protagonist before she kills them. Like, get to know them. Maybe sometimes she gets swayed, but then remembers,
Do you
wait a
think
minute,
like
they're
she's
evil.
like an arbiter? So like she's determining like how bad is this isekai? It's bad. And just
But it
slice
seems
and
like
dice
she's bloodthirsty and will
at some
not
point,
sway.
she goes crazy. But yeah, I think this is solid.
You
What do
had
you
me
think,
at big titties. So
Just because you have presented it in such a way that is very entertaining, I trust you can pull this off. And so I'll back this.
wow. Okay. We have one last. Well, congratulations. That was a clean sweep. So we have one final submission today for Shark Tank from Chicken Master. I need to get some hot chicken. I haven't had some hot chicken in a little while. I went with
What do you call those chicken nuggets?
It's not hot chicken. I got to get Dave's hot chicken. And last night I went with Indian food because it was snowing and I didn't want to drive the extra distance, but it just doesn't compare. The hot chicken is way better. Rin's Retribution. Rin Tachibana is a pilot, and although he hated his job, he kept with it. One day while flying a plane, Rin paid little attention, which caused the plane to crash, killing everyone along with it. However, Rin and the other passengers are reincarnated. It's more isekais. Are reincarnated into a war-torn world where there is little order except for small factions. Story focuses on different passengers, some of which harbor hate for Rin and want revenge, while others forgive him and choose to help him. Rin battles with his guilt for causing the crash while having the desire to survive. The isekai takes a more serious tone, hopefully attracting more kinds of viewers while keeping most of the diehard isekai fans to earn its money. Mason, what do you think?
I like how you just don't pay attention and the plane crashes. Like I like how little hand wavy that is.
How do you not pay attention? Well,
I'm not sure that's how it works anyway.
Not
like,
really.
Even if the pilot is not paying attention, there are several fail saves to make sure that doesn't.
For sure, 100%.
I don't know. It doesn't really need to be an isekai. I don't think I would see this and be like, oh, a bunch of people get in a plane accident and they survive, and then they're kind of upset at the pilot. I'd be like, okay, yeah. Like, it doesn't... I don't really... I'm not pulled in any sort of empathetic direction towards this case. It just seems awful, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing here that makes me want to spend money on it, A, and B, then actually watch it. So I get that it's more serious and mature, maybe like a Rainbow sort of thing, but I'm out.
Thought this person wasn't paying attention and crashed the plane. I thought this was like a mass suicide murder. And I was like, fuck no, don't feel sorry for the guy who killed you like that. But I was wrong. But even so, I'm not, I'll, yeah, it's what Mason said. I'm not entirely interested in this premise.
I actually like the premise because it's nice to hear a serious isekai and, you know, all the talk of people trying to get revenge and whatnot is kind of nice. You know, I don't know. It's just kind of nice to have a change of pace once in a while, to be perfectly honest. And sometimes there's isekais that have really stupid, boring concepts. Like think about Jobless Reincarnation, which didn't really wow the world as far as its plot summary, but then ended up getting a bunch of seasons that everybody really enjoyed for the most part. So I kind of like the idea. So I'm happy to invest in it all in again, but because because that's only 1 out of 3, here comes your burn.
Listen, here's how it works. Lying. You go downstairs, get a bottle of wine, you look at the product, you set it on fire, you drink the whole bottle, and the two of you come to peace. Right. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Well done, everyone.
Yeah, these were good. There's actually quite a few more in our backlog, so we apologize if we did not get to yours. So
hopefully
we'll do this
time
more
we
than
won't,
once a year.
Yeah, we won't take a whole year to get to another installation of this.
Shame on us.
Yeah.
That said, though,
Shame.
we don't have 1,000 of these. So if you're like, ooh, this is scratching my writer's itch, I want to submit one, head over to AAApodcast.com, click on Mailbags and more, whatever at the top, and submit your Shark Tank, and we will eventually read it, hopefully. So there you
now,
go.
like last time, we gave them the challenge of blue balls. Should we give them another challenge?
Oh, man.
For the if they would like to take it?
What would you even do?
I don't know. I mean, I've already submitted a challenge last time, so it would be up to you guys.
Red balls. No,
I
kidding.
can't.
No,
I can't.
I'm okay.
It's too on the spot. Am I just not sure what to do?
It's got to organically come
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I
see.
don't want to force it. So
Having blue balls. So let's do our trivia question.
Okay. In Rurouni Kenshin, what type of sword is Sagara Sanosuke known for? And we'll give you the answer after the news break.
Hey, Anime Addicts, this is Mitsugi, and I'm bringing you your anime news break, starting off with a manhwa getting an anime viral hit, spring 2024 production, so you won't have to wait long. Looks like the Line Digital Frontier Company announced that this adaptation will be occurring. It's going to be on Fuji TV's Plus Ultra programming block starting in April, as I said. Park and Kim began this martial arts series on the Naver Webtoon website platform back in November 2019. It's going to be produced by Studio Slow Curve, who has done some stuff lately that you might know, including that vending machine isekai anime, Listeners. They did Kami Erabi, Chain Chronicle, and some other things. Not an overly good list of anime by any means, but maybe this viral hit will be better when it comes out in April. Next up, the manga Neat Kuno Ichi to Saze ka Dose Hajimemashite, or Somehow I Started Living with a Neat Kunoichi, or Female Ninja, is going to be getting a TV anime as well. The director is Hisashi Saito of Shimai Mao no Testament, and the studio is going to be Quad. And the studio Quad, they have absolutely not done a lot. They've done some ecchi stuff, so maybe this is going to be an ecchi, but I think they did Inu Kai-san's Dog, so, to turn some heads. With some jokes from the podcast, we even did a drinking game about that, which might lead to a drinking game for this anime. We'll have to see what kind of content it is, because I'm not really sure, but look out for this coming out sometime soon as well. Next up, Nintendo Switch continues its march to becoming what will probably eventually be the most successful console of all time. It has now sold 139.4 million units worldwide. The best-selling titles for the Switch are Mario Kart 8 with an insane 60 million copies. That's just fucking crazy. Animal Crossing, New Horizons with 45 million. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 34 million. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with 31 million. And then Super Mario Odyssey with 28 million. And literally all the rest of the titles in the top 10 are all Nintendo properties as well. But Switch fans, just rejoice, I guess. You're never going to run out of, Switch content to play, I guess, and you'll probably have another Switch coming out soon, I imagine. Next up, and for some sad news of Funimation fans, the Funimation app is going to be shut down officially on April 2nd, and its accounts will be merged with Crunchyroll. So we already knew that this was going to be happening. Crunchyroll announced on Wednesday that this was going to be happening, and as part of an ongoing content and service consolidation from the companies. So, Crunchyroll will not support Funimation's digital copy content. Funimation provided digital copies as part of some video, DVD, or Blu-ray purchases. And while Crunchyroll has continued to move content from Funimation to Crunchyroll, it doesn't look like they have yet fully transferred all of the content to Crunchyroll. I think there is some concern about some lost digital properties and anime and whatnot, but we'll have to see. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast. All right, time for some YouTube. I wonder what kind of horrible commercials I get subjected to this time.
Pizza or salad?
Oh, it's this fucking guy with his abs.
Which one do you think I'm having for dinner tonight?
Who really gives a
Not
shit?
This. Definitely not this rabbit food. Why?
Skip.
Because
At Tommy John, we
YouTube, why do you hate me?
Comfortable underwear. And
Stuff that underwear in your mouth so you stop talking. Before you check out every episode of this podcast, I bet you're really missing having to look at dudes' abs or see bulges in men's underwear simply because you're trying to check out some anime. But of course you don't, and we won't torture you with commercials like that. Instead, you can help this podcast remain ad-free by heading over to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon/AAApodcast. You won't have to listen to any horrible commercials, and you'll be getting 8 exclusive extra podcast episodes a month, our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after party episodes, just for you. Again, if you want to help us remain ad-free, go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon.
Hey, Steve Bloom here, voice of Spike Spiegel, Vincent Valentine, Leron from Gurren Lagann, Guillerman from Digimon, and a bunch of other crap. And I am a total anime addict, dude. Tune in, or else.
Welcome back to the pod. When we left you, we had a Rurouni Kenshin trivia question. What type of sword does Sanosuke Sagara have? What is he known for? The answer is Zanbato. Zanbato. So, and a very large sword, probably even bigger than Cloud's Buster sword, and you would never be able to swing that thing.
Make a reappearance in the series, or is it just a 5 minutes of fame kind of sword?
It's a 5 minutes of fame sword.
Oh.
He becomes mostly a brawler with his fists and is much more effective that way. So, and actually, as you saw, quickly abandons the sword anyway. So, yeah, it probably shows up somewhere a couple times, but mostly he's just punching things. So, all right, it's time for mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. If you
like to...
Oh, sorry.
It's supposed to be my turn, Mitz, but you can take it if you'd like.
Oh, no, I would never deprive you of the honor.
If you'd like to submit a mailbag, you can do so at AAApodcast.com and click on the mailbag button like this person did, called I Hate the Waifus You Love.
Jeez.
Great name. They say, have you ever noticed how all shonen protagonists are loud, annoying dimwits? So, I'm not entirely positive, but I think that Mitz does not like moe anime. Did you happen to think that moe anime is just slice of life anime with extremely uninteresting girl characters as its cast? Also, what is up with Japan's obsession with quintessential quintuplets? I mean, I get that we all love a good harem every now and then, but when all the girls look the same with slightly different hairstyles, kind of mid. On that note, I do understand Japan's other admiration with girls in panzer. Genuinely entertaining. Thank you. You guys rock. Till the next mailbag. Also, Jujutsu Kaisen is just okay. Solid 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Like, I'm just
Shit.
whiplashed by all of those talking points. I don't even know where to start with that.
Jeez, I got fucking hate mailed for giving it a 3.5 out of 5, and like 7 bad reviews on iTunes, all calling me a piece of shit, basically. That's not even exaggerating. So, oh my, yeah, okay, wow. Where do we begin with that one?
I will say yes. All shonen protagonists are loud, annoying dimwits. Oftentimes, yes. Moe is often slice of life anime with extremely uninteresting girl characters. I kind of agree, but I don't mind it all that much. Quintessential quintuplets. I didn't know that Japan had an obsession with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, Japan's had a lot of. I'll be letting you know what they have an obsession with here pretty soon. And by the way, side note for people who want to go to Japan, it is no longer easy to get tickets for the Ghibli Museum. Just as a PSA, you can't get them through the Japan Travel Bureau anymore. and they literally sold out almost the entire month of March in literally about 6 hours after they released the tickets yesterday. I literally had to go on Fiverr and pay a scalper 10 times the price of the normal ticket price to get those tickets.
Wow.
So,
and this is for the museum you're talking about, not the theme park.
The theme park is not easy either. I got tickets to the theme park. Don't tell Pancake, but I couldn't get the tickets that get you inside of some of the buildings. They literally are selling out in minutes. So if you want to go to Japan and you want the Ghibli Museum or the Ghibli theme park, you have to literally sign on in the middle of the night because they put them on sale. Like for the Ghibli Museum for March, they put them on sale on the 10th of the prior month. So that was yesterday. And they go on sale at 10 a.m. or I think it's 10 a.m. Japan time. So if you're not literally like, if you're not like awake at midnight or something, staring at your computer, you ain't fucking getting them unless you want to go on Fiverr and pay, a Ghibli Museum ticket is $6, but you'll pay close to $60 on Fiverr to get someone to scalp them for you.
Big is the museum if it's only $6?
It's a pretty quality museum.
Quaint.
Oh, quaint? They got a movie theater? Oh, do you not like the Ghibli Museum, Mason?
I do like the Ghibli Museum. I've been there twice, and I actually cannot believe that when we went as the podcast with the whole crew that we got 13 whatever tickets.
That's because
for everyone.
That's because I went through the Japan Travel Bureau.
Yeah, but that's not an option anymore.
Nope, it isn't. And you can anyway, that's just a PSA. So if you're going to Japan, prepare for a battle for Studio Ghibli anything. So just do not be tricked like I was. I just had to pay a shitload of money to get those tickets, but I did it because I love my wife. But what the hell was the fucking question?
There were not any questions really. Yeah, so just a stream of consciousness.
I don't like Moe because it's just silly, and I'm kind of old, and watching like little 7-year-old girls do stuff just doesn't. It's not for me anymore. Really, it never was. But yeah, I remember now. When I go to Japan, I'll let you know what's popular, because we'll find out in about 6 weeks. But yeah, mostly you're just going to see Evangelion everywhere again. Probably so.
It never lets up. It's always there.
Yeah, it never goes away, ever. Okay, any other comments?
I don't think so.
All right.
Girls und Panzer is entertaining. I will give it that.
And it's fucking popular. Real popular. So yeah, people love that shit, so. All right.
The movies are pretty cool. What are we reviewing today, my friend?
Well, today on the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Rurouni Kenshin, the 2023 edition. I did an impression on this in 687, but I recall failing it because I don't know. There are probably better things to deal with. However, Rurouni Kenshin is a big property, and it was listener choice picked, and I'm not that surprised. And I'm also not, angry about it. So, Rurouni Kenshin is about... It's a historical fiction anime about the Meiji period and the Tokugawa period in Japan. In the late 19th century, there's the Bakumatsu period, which is coming to an end, and it ushers in the Meiji era. But there's a lot of war inside of Japan before that happens. And during the war, there's an infamous hero named the Batosai, Hitokiri Batosai, which means manslayer, who is just killing tons of people and is legendary for his killing prowess. And that is something you should absolutely watch, regardless of this impression, because that's the Rurouni Kenshin Samurai X Trust and Betrayal OVA, which, I don't know, Mason will tell you, it's probably a masterpiece. So it's pretty fucking good.
Of all the entries into Rurouni Kenshin, that's probably the peak of anything I've seen.
I would say so, yeah. So, but this series is about Kenshin as he comes out of that war. Because at the end of the Trust and Betrayal, Kenshin has a very different attitude than when he started. And this is about his journey of redemption, essentially, which is not that different than, I think what you saw in, Vinland Saga Season 2. To try to make amends for just countless people that he killed during the war. He runs into a girl named Kaoru Kamiya, who is the owner of a small and struggling dojo in Tokyo. And, and there's a love interest there immediately. And he runs into a collection of other people that are all, useful in their own ways. And as they try to well, I don't want to give away the second season, but there's a lot of like historical fiction and people from the past that are still hanging around that are unhappy that the war is over and they don't want peace and all this. And Kenshin, meanwhile, is trying to make amends for his crimes with his backwards bladed sword, so he doesn't end up killing people with it, which I think it would probably still kill people, to be fair. But
and what he does, I'm like, are you sure you're not killing people still?
You thunk someone hard enough with anything, they're gonna die.
Yeah, especially a long piece of steel.
And there's still blood splatters. Like, even with the other side, like, you could still see him, like, slicing people.
Yeah. Well, don't tell him that. Caroline, what were your thoughts going into Rurouni Kenshin? Because I'm not so sure you saw the original, and so I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts are.
No, I've never seen the original Rurouni Kenshin, and I actually wasn't even certain what it was completely about, or the type of anime it was. I just know, samurai fighting, classic, and a perverted mangaka. But I've heard good things about it, and I was interested to find out what it was all about. But I did remember that Mitz was not huge on it for impressions, so I wasn't sure what to expect here.
Mason, how about you?
I'm not the biggest fan of Rurouni Kenshin. Most shonens just don't do it for me. But this remake seemed extraordinarily not needed or requested. It's not like it was so dated and whatever that it was unwatchable, and I just didn't get the vibe that a lot of people were clamoring for more of the show. Obviously, the anime doesn't really have an ending. It just kind of trails off with filler and nonsense, so I could get why people want an ending, but it just seemed like, oh, they're making a remake.
Yeah.
Why bother? And Mitz's impression, he seemed kind of underwhelmed, so I was just expecting a standard adaptation, not too much. So I wasn't too excited going in.
Okay. Well, for me, I had watched 5 episodes. Oh, also, I should say, this is done by the director Hideo Yamamoto, who did, Strike the Blood, a lot of it. Linden Films is the studio who most recently did Tokyo Revengers and Call of the Night. And as we said, it's based on a popular manga. I had seen 5 episodes of this going in, and I am very familiar with Rurouni Kenshin. I've seen the whole 93 episodes of the original, and I've seen quite a bit of it more than once, and I've seen the OVAs countless times, and I was pretty sure that this was about as close to a carbon copy remake of the original as it was going to get. Even having had a lot of time pass in between watching the actual series, I still recall most of the events that happened in the 5 episodes. And so essentially I failed it because I didn't really see the point in them having another one come out. So that was kind of my thought. I just expected it to be an exact copy of the original that came out like 25 years ago or whatever. So now, Caroline, you wrote a shitload of notes here on your recommendations. So
I can't trust myself to remember what to say.
Well, fair enough. So why don't you just let us know, do you recommend the Rurouni Kenshin 2023 remake?
No.
Okay.
So here's why. One could say that it brings back memories of classic shonen. I think so. And to a certain point, I kind of liked it. I'm like, oh, this kind of, not a lot of shows have these kinds of tropes anymore, I feel like. Or not tropes, but like this kind of feeling. Unfortunately, though, I had a hard time grasping the tone of this show because it feels like it takes itself very seriously, despite the fact that the villains are probably some of the most cartoonishly evil and just bizarre characters that I've seen in a long time. Just like bizarre in their their fighting style and their character design. Like that one guy with a cyclops with a giant belly that's filled with gas. I'm like,
oil, yeah.
What oil? What?
Lamp oil.
That is just so dumb. I disliked seeing most of them, and like it was just very episodic. And I don't always mind episodic stuff. But the important thing is that the episodic stuff has to be interesting to keep me tuned in for every episode and to make me want to watch another episode. But the quality of the small stories were just not interesting enough for me. And I also discovered that I would be far more interested in seeing Kenshin's past rather than his present. So maybe I will watch that, would you call it a prequel that you mentioned before?
Yes. So there's, just to be exact, there's a prequel and a prologue and epilogue. So the OVAs actually show Kenshin's death as well. I don't think it's...
He dies?
There's enough content in this series to pretty much give you his whole life, and the OVAs kind of show the beginning and the end of it. So the OVAs are definitely worth watching. I don't know where you'd watch them at this point, but yeah, they're worth it.
So that being said, it was also like excessive and exposition dumping. It was just every episode, it was something, whether it be about the fighting style that somebody's using or the history of Japan or this like alternative history that they're telling. Yeah, it's just every episode it was something and I'm like, it was just too much. I also got very frustrated with Kaoru's treatment in the story, and I don't know if this is just me being too much of a feminist, but here's the thing, I don't expect her to be nearly as strong as Kenshin or Sano, but considering that she's a freaking sword master, and she's even teaching somebody swordsmanship, she should at least be doing something as, if not more helpful than Yakiko, who is her student and a child. It just frustrated me so much. And she never does anything more than being just damsel who acts like Kenshin's girlfriend, even though she is not his girlfriend. And she keeps on saying these stupid things. I'm like, girl, you just met, and she doesn't see you that way, at least not at this point. And it's just... And to make matters worse, she hardly is ever respected by anybody other than Kenshin. Like, Sano disrespects her. Yahiko disrespects her. That doctor lady disrespects her. Everybody disrespects her. And it makes me, like, wonder, like, am I supposed to respect this girl? Yeah, so my potential excessive feminist hang-ups aside, I was just disappointed by the show. It was not doing it enough to keep me interested for 2 cours.
Mason, how about yourself?
I think this show is a mixed bag, both as a standalone and compared to the original. And I think Leiden Films did a solid enough job with the visuals, as did the voice actors, especially with none of the original voice actors returning. I think they did a pretty solid job. The characters, as Caroline mentioned, are just kind of weak in my eyes. The music, the plot are just lacking, especially for a 2-course show. And I think there are some pros to this version over the original. It's definitely much closer to the manga. It definitely cuts out some of the filler, definitely has some of the fluffier added characters kind of taken out of the picture. So there are some good things to this version. But there's really not a conclusion to it. I think the best is yet to come, as with the original. There's not an ending that you can point to. It's like, this version is the best one. It's kind of just whatever preference, but both of them are just not my kind of thing. Watch Samurai X, as Mitt said. If you like that, then watch the original or this one. Either works, but it's fine, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's so goofy in so many ways that kind of takes you out of what I think are some really good ideas at the core of this series. So I like what this series is capable of. I just don't like the experience of watching it. So I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say nice things about it. So, What do you think, Mitz?
I'm mostly in Mason's boat on this. I wouldn't recommend it only because I'd say go watch the original. And the problem with the first part, so if you go online and you look at Rurouni Kenshin's score, and I love scores because I'm a data guy, and I go, okay, well, what does Rurouni Kenshin get online? And you'll find that the Rurouni Kenshin original has about an 8.4 online, which is pretty good, right? But the new one has a 7.6. I'm just checking that score on that original because I want to make sure. 8.3. Almost a whole point is quite a lot lower. And to be perfectly honest with you, the reason why this happens is because the second arc of this show is much better than the first arc. And in typical fashion with adapting from the original, the Kyoto arc is the strongest arc, and that is the second half. And you haven't gotten to that yet. And so because all you have is the first arc, it's getting a 7.6, which is still okay. But when you add the second arc, it pushes it up to an 8.3. Now, I think that if this was a show based on the second arc only, which you're probably going to get at some point, it's going to get a much higher score. Now, there are some things I want to say about this, but we can cover it in spoilers mostly. I don't think this is bad. I think that some of the action scenes are actually pretty comparable. Like the fight scene with Aoshi is comparable. You know, they have the Shinsengumi guys in there. The Hajime Saito's in there. They have the what the hell's it? Hanbasa or whatever the hell his name is. He's in there. Like the fight scenes are pretty good. Kenshin is essentially on point. Everything to me seemed frankly quite normal. It looks pretty good. It's just that this is just a waste of your time. You really should just go watch the first one. And I don't understand exactly why this was even made. I'm not sure what the exact expectation or outcome that they were hoping for would be. But if you're going to make the same series, it's just a little odd to just carbon copy it. It doesn't add much except an up-res on the visuals. And some people like those older visuals. I have an anime cell of Sanosuke with his head bleeding, with the background and everything, and I don't have it framed yet because it's not that expensive. But some of us like the lower res. Caroline, you have a question? You're raising your hand.
Question. It's because I have a bad habit of talking over you guys, so I'm just.
Well, that's okay. You can jump in when you want.
Yeah, just had a question because I don't know. Did the original anime cover the whole story, or did it not fit?
No,
okay.
It kind of just petered out.
Okay, so maybe this is like their excuse to finish it because it would be awkward to just jump in with these new visuals.
Well, so wait a second. So the original series, the first 24 episodes or so of it, or what you already saw. The next 24 episodes is Kyoto, and then after Kyoto, there's a bunch of filler-ass bullshit that actually drags the score down quite a bit. There's not much after Kyoto that's worth watching. It's literally like Naruto, where at the end of Naruto, there's like 50 episodes of filler. It gets that same treatment. So whether or not they finished it or not is up for debate, but I haven't read the manga, so maybe there's more. Maybe that's what you mean, Mason.
Yeah, they don't reach the end of the manga in the original anime. So it's a mix of they never got an ending, and it just becomes fillery nonsense where people just it just faded out. So I hope, Caroline, that the reason that we can say, hey, watch New Rurouni Kenshin is because they eventually get through everything and get to a satisfying manga conclusion without all the filler. But it's not there yet, so it's hard to say watch this version when the other one has the Kyoto arc in its queue, locked and loaded, ready to go. So
yeah, that's one thing I will say is that I thought that the setup for the next season seems interesting. And I did hear something about the Kyoto arc being decent while I was watching this one. But I still don't know if I would put in the time to watch it. I don't know.
I don't think the villains are going to get any less villainy. Except Shishio is pretty much an S-tier villain, in my opinion. He's fucking awesome in just about every way, including that he's voiced by Steve Blum in the original and the dub, which is he has the most. Steve Blum's laugh is so maniacal and just perfect for that character that Shishio, who I can't remember. Did they show him at all in this first season or not?
You saw him turning at the very end. Spoilers.
Okay. Yeah.
Not really spoilers. You saw his design at the very end with all the bandages. That's who he is.
Yeah, he's very cool as a villain and very menacing and very powerful. But the villains, some of the villains are still very villainy, although there are some very cool non-comical villains. Like there's a monk who teaches Sanosuke the Futai no Kiwami like fighting style, and then they have a fight using that, and that's a pretty fucking that's an up there like level shonen fight for sure. But no, Kaoru doesn't really get any better treatment, although I will tell you some things about Kaoru in the spoiler section, because I seriously doubt we'll watch the second season of this. But every single person should go watch the Trust and Betrayal OVAs. There's absolutely no exception. Completely. It has everything. It has unbelievable music, unbelievable dialogue and narration, insane action scenes, beautiful like love story. It's almost just poetic, honestly, in my opinion. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but I seriously doubt it. And I bet if I look up the Trust and Betrayal OVA on this website, I bet it has probably one of the highest rated anime on here.
And it's even only 4 episodes, and it's a prequel. So
even somebody like me who did not really love this, I might enjoy that.
The Rurouni Kenshin Trust and Betrayal has an 8.7 on my anime list, and yes, I would be pretty sure you would like it. And it plays like and this includes the other this OVA. This score includes one OVA that's not remotely even comparably good. So I think by itself, the Trust and Betrayal OVA is probably pushing a 9, but it plays like a 2-hour movie. Or this might actually be all just the first one because they've got it chopped into 4 30-minute episodes. Yes, you should go watch.
That's the standalone one. There's one extra one I think on top.
You should go watch it for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to spoilers because there's so much more to say.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Kaoru doesn't get any more love, but doesn't get any respect really. But Kenshin and Kaoru do end up together at the end.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, it's very
cute. Even though she's way too old for her at this point in her life.
That's the only reason to really watch the extra filler stuff, because at a certain point they get past the filler, and then towards the very, very end, there's some like romantic scenes where it's pretty much a given. And in the OVA, when Kenshin goes off and dies, Kaoru's involved in that, and Sanosuke's there, and
he dies. That's
he
so
does
sad.
Die. I won't tell you how he dies, but yeah, I mean
It's just like spoiler.
Well, yeah, like holy moly, Mitz, that's over the top spoilers.
I mean, you have to appreciate. I'm just going to gush a little more. You have to appreciate how good the OVA is. I mean, it starts off with a scene with Seijiro Hiko, who teaches Kenshin the Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu sword style, and he has this deep, like, epic voice, and he goes, "The moon peers down on a diseased world." And it's like this scene where these like bandits are killing these slave traders that are trading Kenshin, and it's so visceral. Like there's a scene where Kenshin's lying on the ground and he's looking like sideways at one of the girls who's not dead yet, and she's like looking at him with her head on the ground, and she's crying and reaching out to him, and the guy just jams his sword through her throat and kills her, and it's just insanely visceral. And totally just brutal. And that's exactly how that era would have been with all the bandits and just the lawlessness. And then Seijiro Hiko comes by and he just wipes them out in like 2 seconds. And then he saves Kenshin. He goes, "What is your name, boy?" or whatever. And he goes, "Shinta, too weak for a swordsman. From now on, your name is Kenshin." And then they just start, and then he trains him, and then they split apart because their ideals don't match up, and Kenshin wants to go fight for what he believes in, and Hiko's all about peace and stuff. But man, it's very well written. But yeah, it's anyway. We're not talking about that. But I'd kind of rather talk about the OVA. But oh my God, my wife brought me a Sonic the Hedgehog Pez dispenser. This is amazing. This is the best moment of my life. Wow, I don't even want to open this. Unbelievable.
Not even to eat that delicious, nutritious. I'm not even gonna call it a candy. It doesn't even deserve.
It'll get broken if I open it. I'll figure it out later. Wow, what a good waifu.
You should bring that with you to the theaters when you see Sonic 3, and then you can just eat out of that.
Every time I just bubble over with childish delight, I'll just eat a Pez.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean. I don't know. What else do you guys want to say about this first half of this series?
We haven't even started talking about it.
Yeah, we need to talk about the show.
You jumped into ultra spoilers for a show that has not even gotten to that point yet.
I really like Rurouni Kenshin, and certain sections of it are incredible, and certain sections of it are not. But taken in totality, I'd say it's pretty good. But go ahead and I'll shut up for a few minutes.
Okay, so I would say, if anything was interesting to me in this show, it was kind of like the backdrop of Japan's situation, where you have a new government that one could say is corrupt, but you can also say is trying to get more developed, and it's in an awkward stage, but is also has its supporters and its what's the opposite of supporter?
Detractor?
Opposers. Yes. Something like that.
Detractors.
And so people's differing opinions on what this world is now, even though they just came out of this whole revolution. And then you have, Kenshin, who was fighting for this new government, but is also seen as this evildoer because of how notorious he was. So he's kind of, playing both types of character right there. And Sanosuke's backstory was really interesting and something I didn't even think about, that, the leadership of this revolution would take out one of their units because they were making promises that they weren't intending to keep. So yeah, those parts were interesting to me.
I think to kind of go off what Caroline is saying, I think what embodies how I feel about this show the most is there is that symbol where, the world is moving on. Technological innovation is coming through. The new era of government, the era of the sword is going by the wayside. So they have this scene where this character, this villain, is wielding this, essentially this whole like Gatling gun situation against our enemies, and just technological prowess that was purchased by overwhelming wealth is just cutting these shreds of the old world to death. Like all of these samurai people are killed by this one man with one Gatling gun, and the era of the samurai is over. And you're like, okay, yeah, like I can see where that symbolism is going. But the villain is so cartoonishly goofy and silly, and everyone is like, yeah, he's laughing as he sings Gatling, 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 Gatling.
Oh,
And everyone's
God.
dying, and all these
That
villains
was
that we met
terrible.
a minute ago are getting these big emotional send-off dying scenes, and you're like, this is just goofy. Like, there's a disconnect between the good idea at the core of it and how it's executed in a way that just makes me feel like, come on, this is so cartoony and dumb.
It is, yeah, a little bit.
And the problem is it's very episodic, this show, and it's just episode after episode of, okay, we're going to get a bunch of these rowdy, no good weapon wielding like groups of men, and then they're going to get involved with some poor child or a poor woman or a group of people, and they're going to be thieves or yakuza or police or swindlers or criminals or armies or gangs of various persuasions, all of which exist. And then they're going to start doing bad stuff, but then Kenshin is going to come through and defeat all of them because of course he does. And then like that's how it repeats. But we have to make sure we know these people are bad. So first they're going to do all this bad stuff or cut up a rock so we know that they're really strong. And there's always going to be like a cowardly short fat man who's going to bring a second backup weapon. So when their companion in crimes that they hire, whether they get defeated, they're going to be like, haha, I have a gun, or haha, I have a smallpox virus, or haha, I have some, like, the story beats are so repeated that there's always a mastermind behind the mastermind behind the mastermind behind the assassin, and you never know who's really in charge. And the show just throws so much vocab at you. You got to know government outfits, gang allegiances, types of swords, styles of combat, eras, character names, nicknames, special abilities, dojos. Like, when I talk to who is Rurouni Kenshin, he could be Kenshin, he could be Shinta, he could be Batosai, he could be Hitokiri, he could be Himura, he could be Ronin, he could be Ronin, he could be serving an Imperious Bakumatsu who wields a Sakabatu, Kabato, Katana, and Kamiya. Like, every line of dialogue has like some like word that you have to check your dictionary with to be like, okay, what are they talking about? And it's okay, it's not as bad as they make it seem because they repeat dialogue all the time. She's a master of Western medicine, it says 7 times in a row. Like, the show is just goofy, and you're like, okay, I get it, you don't like the show. But there's also so many cool moments when the Kenshin fights this guy by holding his blade so he has a shorter sword, so it like changes his reach. Like, that's really cool. Like, there's tons of moments like that where you're like, oh, like, he was a Batosai and he's becoming Kenshin. He's discarding the names. He's discarding the baggage the same way Zanza turned to Sanosuke. Like, there's so many cool moments that you're like, yes. Like, it's there. There's the gem. There's the seed of what makes Rurouni Kenshin so good, especially as Mitt said, like, later on.
Yeah.
But it hasn't bloomed yet. So you get goofy moments of, like, so there's a scene where Sanosuke has to break a gun. He like takes the guy's gun and he breaks it to be like, I'm the strong one. Get your nonsense out of here. So how does he break it? How would you, listener, envision how you would break a gun? You got it?
take a screwdriver and take it apart?
Yeah, if you were really strong, how would you break it?
What kind of a gun is it?
It's a handgun.
I'd smash it.
Do I have a tool?
Smash it on a rock or something.
Yeah, you can smash it on a rock. You could just grab it and just rip it. There's lots of ways. This guy tosses it up and then punches it from both sides of his chest, and it just like it's just goofy. It's just silly. It's just, I don't know. The characters are weak. Everyone is immediately endeared and enthralled with Kenshin. He does one thing. He says one Dego Zairu at the end. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Kenshin's the best. Oh my goodness, I love him so much." And you're like, "Yeah, he's fine. He's nice." But the pacing is off. There's a lot of... I'm just rambling at this point. But I want to like the show. I really do. But it's just goofy.
Yeah, you definitely said it better than I did, like, with all your examples. Because then you reminded me, like, oh my god, how many times was there a villain with an extra weapon up their sleeve to take care of the job that they sent somebody else to do, and blah, blah, blah. It's just constant. Yeah, and I like Kenshin, but sometimes, like, his whole, like, persona, it's just it just gets boring. So whenever he's about to kill someone, I'm like, oh yeah, Kenshin, kill somebody. Yeah. But he never does, because he's Kenshin.
And he won't, because that's...
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's... because I wouldn't be surprised at all if Thorfinn's modeled after Kenshin. I mean, I'm not sure when Vinland Saga was written, the manga.
I don't know. I feel like there's always been, like, the hero that won't kill. Kind of thing.
I mean, it's very, you know...
I mean, Kenshin was definitely earlier. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's pretty early, but... No, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's silly, and some of the characters are meaningless. They spend most of the first season and getting all the characters on board, and they do all play a part. Like, it's not like they're all useless. They're all going to have, you know, their moment.
Not all of them.
Well, some of them are small moments.
Kaoru almost had a moment. Kaoru had one scene where the, like, dojo person comes and he, like, goes to fight.
Oh my god, I was like...
And she jumps in front of him.
Kaoru, go
she's like,
get him!
I'm going to
probably
take this
gonna
fight.
Lose, but yes, just at least try. And then Kenshin's like, wait, I know I said I wouldn't before, but if Kaoru's going to get involved, if she's going to do anything,
exactly.
I'm going to stop this.
I really like Kaoru, honestly, as a character. She's very cute. She's fun. Honestly, she's like a unicorn. She's like very ideal in most ways.
I like her. I don't like what they do with her.
She's 17, so she's not like a fucking loli. But you have to... There is one thing to remember about this, and I do wish she was a little more, you know, tough, I guess, as I would put it, or whatever. But she's dealing with... First of all, she's from a dojo that is basically a joke. That's like the point. It's abandoned. It doesn't have pupils. The sword style is probably not very good. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of people there. And she's dealing with legendary killers from an era of pure crime and murder. And she's 17. So, like, during that time, she was like a little girl. So she's just not comparable. I mean, literally, Shishio's sword has so much blood, has so much human fat soaked into it that when he drags it on the ground, it ignites. Like, you just can't put poor Kaoru in that arena. Like, she's just going to be murdered.
I totally understand. Like, and if that was just the case, then I'd be like, oh yeah, like, there's no wonder. But the thing is that we have Yahiko, who is doing far more than Kaoru, and by all accounts, he should be weaker than her. And the moment that everything really clicked for me and my problem with Kaoru really ignited was during that point where they're going to the mansion to save what's-her-face, the doctor girl. And, like, there's no reason for Kaoru not to go while Yahiko's going. That really got me. She's gonna make the fingers. Like, if Yahiko didn't go, then maybe I wouldn't be so annoyed. But we have this little twerp going who doesn't even respect his teacher. And he's saying, and this freaking joke, I hated this joke. It's so unfunny, and they kept on doing it. It was like, no, it's not even that. It was like, you better keep up, Sanosuke. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you acting like you're tougher than him? It's so dumb.
I didn't mind that. That was kind of cute. And he's like, What bothered me more with Yahiko was in the final fight, this 10-year-old is talking about, oh, Kenshin implied centrifugal force to do a backslap. And I'm like, listen, buddy, you can't even spell that.
Yeah.
They just, Kaoru, I get it. She is not going to go toe-to-toe on the same level as these legendary swordsmiths. I don't need her to. I just need her to have more of a struggle than Kenshin's gonna run away from me and I'm never gonna see him again.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
And again, my problem is, if Yahiko's doing anything, she should be doing something as well. If he wasn't part of the picture, I probably wouldn't have even had a problem with this. But if he is, and if he's doing something, Kaoru should be a something.
I think we're agreeing with Mitz. We like Kaoru. We just want more of her. Like,
just want her to do something.
Like, she's a good person. You want to see her succeed. It's not like we don't like her. We just want her character.
Oh yeah. I mean, Kaoru's she's an S tier waifu. Are you fucking kidding?
I mean she can't cook, so.
Well, who cares? No one cooks anymore anyway. I've been watching Financial Audit on YouTube. Everybody's going bankrupt eating out. No one's cooking. But yeah, I mean, she's a straight up she's a 90s anime S tier waifu. There's nothing else to say about it. I fucking love Kaoru. She's probably
like her little ribbons.
She could probably take on most guys, but according to my anime list, she also weighs 90 pounds. So what are you gonna fucking do? I mean, you basically weigh as much as the wind. She weighs as much as my right leg. So I mean,
she loves letting random people into the house. She just always gets bamboozled. Yeah. She just constantly like, oh yeah, come in, sworn enemy of Kenshin. Yeah.
Well, she did say that she doesn't care about people's pasts, and she's extremely trusting. That was already established in the beginning. But like there was one moment, other than the moment where she's about to fight, the dojo guy, that I was thinking originally, like, oh my god, she's gonna do something. There was one moment, like right before that, where I was thinking, like, oh, okay, so people do respect her ability to be a sword master here. And that was when she went to the dojo in the first place, and she was doing training, and all these people really liked her. She was, and they were like, oh my god, yes, she's here. We're gonna, do some sparring with her. But it's only because she's hot.
Yeah,
we find out that it's only because she's hot.
More people come only when she's here to just like.
And I was like, why can't they just give her a little respect? And they're almost there, but then they make a joke out of it.
She's not even
Kenshin respects
referee.
her. Kenshin respects her.
Kenshin respects her because he's the main character and he respects everyone to like an extreme degree.
I think all the characters and all the protagonist characters respect Kaoru.
They don't. Yeah, one kid calling her an old hag, and the other constantly disrespecting her cooking, despite the fact that he cooks for her, or she cooks for him for free. There's hardly any point where they think that she's any more than a girl that can't cook and apparently can't fight.
Listen, I will say, I think you guys are getting a little too hung up on Kaoru, because she's not even really the, like...
I know.
She's almost much of a nothing burger. She's not even worth talking about.
She's barely even... Yeah, I mean, the show is about Kenshin and not much else. I mean... But Kenshin.
I know.
Yahiko's like fucking. He's like Shippo from Inuyasha. He's just a little punk ass bitch. He'll never amount to anything, and I'm amazed he survives even the first 24 episodes with his fucking attitude. Aoshi should have just ran him through and ended it right there in that fucking mansion. But he's a little punk. But Kaoru is right up there with like Kagome. I mean, What the hell is this you just handed me? Cat treats? Here.
I love how she keeps on giving you things during the
I don't want these. I'll play with him later. The cat is very activated right now. The Mako reactor is reacting. So.
Oh, I hear him meowing.
Oh, yeah. You'll get to meet him. His fur is growing back from when we shaved him, so he looks pretty good right now.
Yay.
Well, do you guys want to score it? I mean, I feel like it's about that time.
I just want to do a quick, like, visually.
Yeah, visually.
I think it was very clean looking. It had some nice visual metaphors, some consistent coloring. Where, like, the Shinsengumi used the red color in their flag, and then the spy Shinsengumi had that same red color. There was a nice metaphor also that Shinsengumi guy who, like, blasted this huge hole in the wall by, like, sparing Sagura through it. And then, like, Kenshin gets really angry and he slashes at the wall next to it and just leaves, like, a little teeny, like, cut dent, and you can just like see the difference in power. Like, that was pretty nice. The animation though, especially in the fights, was a little underwhelming just because there was a lot of cutaways where a character goes to swing a sword and shing sound effect, and then you see it after the fact. Somewhere speed lines, the biggest problem I had visually with the show is a lot of the places that people lived in felt very unlived in. Like they fight in these big mansions where these wealthy characters have ballrooms and this and all these massive rooms with nothing in it. No furniture, no pictures on the wall, no anything. Like these were just boxes that people put people to fight in. Like there was no, like they didn't feel like houses or streets or places that people actually visited. So it felt a little desolate when you saw behind that. But overall, it looked just clean. Like it's an HD 16 by 9 frame. Like that's what you want with your anime instead of the original 4:3. Go with this. But I think they did a good enough job with it.
Yeah, it was enough of an improvement that it was fine. And to be honest with you, I felt like they saved their money for the important moments as far as like the animation, because some of those fight scenes were not good and some of them were. Like the Aoshi fight scene, I thought they definitely knew where to put the money. You know, in my opinion, I mean, God, I wish this was done by like Mappa or fucking like UFO Table or something. It'd be awesome, but there's really nothing for them to gain from this because I feel like I feel like Mappa's like a serious business. Like they're like making money and they only want properties that are going to make them money. And I just don't think a rerun of Rurouni Kenshin was going to get it done. But I didn't particularly think the theme song was very good, and I really liked the Kenshin theme songs, even though some of them are kind of like comically bad, but people like them because of that.
Weird musically, but even if you watch the original Freckles OP, which is iconic, but it has kind of a weird intro. Like visually, the scene of him like going under the bridge with the boat, like that's memorable, that's iconic, but that's also artistically designed. This was just like aggressive poses with cool music. Like there wasn't much thought to the OPs or EDs. Those were pretty underwhelming, as was the music as a whole.
Yeah.
No, I actually kind of liked the first OP and actually a bit of the first ED, but only the parts in the OP where they're rapping and he's like bouncing off the walls. And I know, like I said, that I absolutely hated the villains and their just bizarre abilities, but they're part of that sequence where he's just like boop 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 boop, and I like that part. But
yeah, I had moments, but for 24 episodes with some weird pacing, I'm ready to score it if you guys are.
Yeah. Should I go first, or Mitsuki, or?
I'll go first. It was kind of my anime anyway, so. I'm a pretty big Rurouni Kenshin fan. It takes a pretty big fan to watch all that filler after the Kyoto arc, and if they continue the actual story after the Kyoto arc or whatever's missing from the manga, I will watch that, I think. Because I'd like to see the rest, even though there's no fucking way they're going to get anything better than Shishio. He's just too cool. It would be really something if they brought back Steve Blum to do his voice in the dub, but I don't think that'll happen. But, it's really a tale of different sections. This first season isn't particularly strong compared to the next one. But I thought they did mostly the correct things in this season. It was about as good as it was going to get, given that it's a lot of introduction and some silly villains. And when you get to Kyoto, it's more characters like Aoshi than it is anything else. They're more people and less ogre type people with like oil in their stomach, which is admittedly stupid. So given that I was generally pleased with the majority of this, given that I am, like I said, well aware that it's not the strongest part of the show, I am going to review it as if I am including the second season. And so I am, because I don't think we're going to cover it. And I'm going to give this the same score I gave the other Kenshin, probably 100 years ago on this podcast, which is 4 Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu Batojutsu Soryu Sens out of 5. Because it's pretty cool when Kenshin misses with his sword and then he uses the sheath to dislocate that guy's elbow. I think that's pretty cool. So, and I love their, and by the way, Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu. I mean,
that's where Mitz comes from.
My fucking namesake. So.
Right.
And it's fucking cool as shit. So, yeah. All right, that's it. We'll go to Caroline next because that was the normal order.
So yeah, I was disappointed by this. I thought it had its moments that it could have been better. And this isn't even because it's a remake. It is because I just don't really care for this part of Rurouni Kenshin. I can see myself liking the Kyoto arc since it seems like that's what people have been talking so highly about. But I don't think I would actually go watch it unless it was passed for review or something like that. I might go watch that Samurai X stuff, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to give this show 2 oro out of 5.
You might fucking cry during the Trust and Betrayal OVA. It's pretty sad.
Perhaps.
It's
Perhaps.
there's a lot of romance in there.
That was my out of 5s, was Oros.
Oh, sorry. You can do Gozarus.
De Gozaru.
Yeah.
This show feels like that old denim jacket that you used to love. And you're walking by the store one day and you see a denim jacket in the store just like it. And you're like, oh, I remember that denim jacket. Oh, I love that thing. Let me buy it. And you get home and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel too bad. It's not quite the same, but it looks good. And you wash it a few times and you see the threads and the stitching don't have that same quality that you remember. Like the characters aren't as engaging as you remember. And the villains are kind of shallow and the buttons are getting loose and the fights aren't animated as well. And really the only idea is killing is bad, which you're like, I got that. I've seen that before. And the zipper gets stuck a bit. And then the pacing starts really wearing on you. And it just loses momentum as you get on. And you're like, maybe the Kyoto arc will be better. But like where it is currently right now, if this is the first entry in Kenshin after a decade, it's quite unsatisfying, isn't it? So I'm going to give it 2, I don't know, old hags out of 5.
Oh, he stole his things.
I think next season will be good. I don't know if I'll stick around to watch it. I've seen Kyoto. I've seen, like I said, Samurai X, probably the peak of the series. So, yeah, if you've never seen Rurouni Kenshin at all, like I think this is fine to start here. I don't think it's so drastically worse or better than the original where you have to pick one or the other. Pick which one you want. You'll get a pretty good experience either way. I don't like shonen, so that's why it's a low score. But there you go. 2 2s and a 4. That's about what I was expecting.
The Samurai X will also tell you where Kenshin got his cross-shaped scar from. So
yeah.
That's in there.
And that averages out to a 2.66666. So it's going to go as a 2.5 on the spreadsheet. And we've done it. Are you glad you finally watched Kenshin to some extent, though, Caroline? And now when people bring it up, you're like, oh, I know what that is.
It is good to know. Yeah. I am disappointed, though. I really expected to like this, but yeah.
It's not quite as serious as the other installments, I think, is probably the bottom line.
What gave that away? The guy who tore his own face off for no reason.
Just the silly villains and
like,
okay, a lot of goofy shit.
So that guy, he has no face because didn't they say something like, oh, you can't be recognized? I'm like, well, I'm sure as hell gonna recognize the guy who has no face. I'm gonna remember that one.
I think my favorite moment from the show that was like, what was they're storming the rich dude's castle to save Dr. Lady.
Dr. Lady.
And they incapacitate all the guards outside and they run up to the front and the rich guy pokes his head out the window. He's like, give me an hour. And Kenshin's like, ah! And he cuts on a lamp. The lamp then flies through the air, hits the house building, and says, okay, I'll wait. And then they go and then fight the like 3 guards. Why? I must have missed something, but it was silly. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's close it out. That was
episode 750.
Hey, we did it. So that's our show for today. If you want to support the podcast, AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon. That'll get you all the exclusive content. You'll keep the show functioning, the way it has been. So we depend on you. We have no, by our own choice, no sponsors, no ads to play for you because, as I say, we don't want to bombard you with horseshit ads all the time. And frankly, no one gives a damn about Harry's razors and all the other crap people sell. So, yeah, if you want to follow us, we're on social media. We're on Twitter at AAA Podcast. We're on Facebook. You can find us on there. We're on TikTok, of course, at the Anime Addicts. So find us on there. And everywhere in between, of course, the Discord is AAAdiscord.com. Next week, I think Mason's all alone because I have no idea what you're planning on doing. I would have just told you to take the week off, but you just can't
We'll do something
resist.
fun. Well, I don't know if we'll do it live, but we'll do something fun. So stay tuned.
I will be entertaining Caroline. We're going to be having a good time. So I know that Pancake's very excited. So we'll see you guys two of us will see you in 2 weeks, where we are going to be reviewing. What are we reviewing? Let me see here.
Is it 100 Girlfriends?
It could be. I think I've got it on the website. So, oh no, it says The Eminence and Shadow Season 2.
Oh,
so that's what we're
okay.
gonna watch.
There we go.
So we're gonna be watching that. All right, thanks for listening to the show, guys. We appreciate you. We'll be doing an after party, but other than that, take care. Have fun watching your anime, and hopefully the Chiefs don't win. Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Digozaru.
Oro.